Hey, it's Debbie and Audrey with the Question Queens. Welcome back. And we've got a great video for you guys today. It's actually one we've already posted, and we had a lot of great comments, and we kind of want to go over those. But first, we're going to replay the video just so you all can get a refresher and know what that was. This is from Just Pearly Things. And if you've watched any of our videos so far, you can tell that there's a lot of things I don't agree with her on, and some things I do. So let's see what she has to say.
Your 20s and then at 30 run to a man, and but you've lost the things that men value. By the time you're 30, you're no longer pure, you're no longer youthful. And so men are kind of tired of it, because what happens is they'll date the bad boys, the rappers, whatever, in their 20s, and then they hit 30. One guy thinks this is his lucky ticket, this girl's super into him, but she just wants kids. And she really feels like she settled for him. She gets the kids and then half the time leaves. And it's girls want to sleep around in their 20s and then at 30 run to a man.
Okay.
I have so much to say. Not so.
I know you do.
Well,
so my comment, I don't know what the context of her saying all this is, but I don't think it's women do this. I think it's just normal that in your 20s, you're idealistic about what your life is going to be like. I have known some nerdy, awkward guys that my advice to them was, you need to wait till she's been hurt. You need to look for somebody with a couple kids coming out of a bad relationship.
Why is that?
Because ain't nobody looking for, nobody's first pick is the awkward, nerdy guy.
Is there a benefit to men of a woman that's been married and she has kids and she's gotten divorced?
So when you're not overly idealistic, what you want in a relationship is to love and to be loved. You want when you're young, you want somebody you can build with, somebody that's going the same place as you're going, somebody that you're going to be able to tolerate playing Uno with and watching movies with and co-parenting with. Really, just if you can tolerate them long term, that's the goal. But nobody straight out the gate says, I just want somebody I can put up with. Straight out the gate, you want them 6'2", and you want them better genetic stock than you, so your kids don't have any health problems, and you want them to be funny, and you want them to be smart, and you want them to be good with money and have a great credit score. But there's not enough of those to go around, and they're not necessarily looking for you.
And most of the time they're not necessarily real. That's not realistic.
That's
it's exactly really not.
Right. It's very few people that can hit the top 20% of looks, of smartness, of credit score, of being a good person that's going to care about you, and they're interested in you.
Right.
That's a hard match to make.
Well,
and so on what I see is that to some degree, almost everybody.
And what I was thinking, because I've been divorced and you've been divorced, what I realized, after you go through all that, and I had 2 kids, what you truly get out of that is what you don't want. And some of those things you thought really mattered don't matter. And some of the things you didn't think mattered really do matter. And you get perspective. So to me, it's just like another experience, and you gain wisdom. So if you meet someone that didn't gain any wisdom by that, that's a pretty big red flag for you. If they're still idealistic.
Some people it takes a couple times.
Sometimes it does.
I mean, and what I think is the number one foreteller of people that are not going to make it. And I don't care how compatible they are, but if either one of them, and often both, have the attitude oh, I'm not happy yet. If they're standing there with their arms crossed, waiting for somebody else to make them happy.
That's so true.
They're not going to get happy. That's not the way you get happy.
No. And I will tell you, that is some wisdom that I've learned, and I'm sure you've learned it as well.
Yes. And I learned it by watching marriages go down in flames.
Yes. If you're not happy within your own personal bubble, that happiness is never going to come from a spouse. It'll literally just be them failing you constantly.
That's exactly right. And
they're supposed to
make you happy.
It's like what Connie said. They're supposed to be an addition to your life. not
Right.
define your life. And when you start looking for someone to define your life, but anyway, that's kind of down off the other topic.
No, I still think it's important. I
It
mean,
is
'cause
important.
what I told my sons when they were dating was that when you're dating, you should be dating people that are fun and make you want to be a better person. If it's not fun and you're not being your best self with them, leave it. And
It's
the
so
thing
true.
that I left out that nobody told me, that the people I know that have been married for a long time and have good marriages, and it seems like somebody told them, is that date looking for a spouse.
Well, and that brings us to one of the comments that Corey Anderson left, and he says, "No woman stays pure and youthful forever. Is a man to leave his wife once she hits 36? How shallow." That's no
exactly
good.
right. That is shallow, but I think anybody that's lived in the world for a while knows a guy like that
That's
is forever with a 24-year-old girl, that when he was 25, that made sense. And then when he hit 30, they divorced and he got a new 24-year-old girl. And then when he hit 40, they divorced, he got a new 24-year-old girl.
or how many men have left their wives of 18 years for a young woman?
Yeah. I mean, it happens all the time.
It does
It's
happen.
definitely, I don't think you can say this is how men are. There's plenty of men that don't.
Exactly.
And part of it is you got to be a man that can pull a 24-year-old girl. Every man can't. Lots of them might be wishing they could be with a younger woman, but they can't pull her.
I
And
just
that's a
can't
danger.
imagine.
That is a danger in marriages. I've also known some marriages that have went up in flames because a man didn't feel loved and respected at home, and then some dirty whore at work started flirting with him, and next thing you know, he was
He's out the door with her.
Because even though if you get them by cheating, you should expect to lose them cheating. But that girl came from a worse spot. And so to her, he looked like Prince Charming.
Right. Well, another comment is by Crow Prince. Out of curiosity, why do we never hear about men being, quote, unpure when they sleep around in their 20s?
I mean, we talk about that. Is it so? Part of that to me is that men are built for that. Men are built to sleep around. It ain't right, but I feel like it's science. I feel like.
So why are they built to sleep around and women aren't?
I mean, taking God out of it.
Okay.
A man can get every woman in the room pregnant and spread his seed. And that's how his line continues, is spreading his seed. And so he's built for it. He's built that if famine takes out half the women, he's still got plenty more children to go. Good, he's good to go. There's a confidence that comes from getting laid, and you can get laid again. Like if you're that guy that talks a good game, that makes a good eye contact, makes women feel pretty at the party, well, you're gonna get laid more than the guy that doesn't have those qualities.
Yeah. So if you were out there dating and you met 5 guys and went from this guy slept with 100 to 30 to 10 to 2 to none.
If that's the only thing I knew about him, of course I don't want the guy that's been with the most girls. But I'm telling you, at a party,
Right.
the guy that's probably going to turn me on is the guy that knows how to work me, the guy that makes good eye contact. There was this guy one time. The Chastity and Charity both told me how great he was. And when I looked at him from across the room, I thought, he is a troll. What are they talking about? And then one day, they were both busy, and he talked to me. He made the best eye contact. And I was like, oh, while he's talking, I'm like, oh, I see.
Awesome.
So it wasn't that he was hot. It's that he had a way of interacting with you that made you feel seen.
But do you think that's directly correlated with how many sexual partners he's had?
I think they go together. He's more likely to get more partners if you do that. I mean, because the contrast is also true. The guy that doesn't make good eye contact ain't getting laid. So the guy that's been with 20 people, it's not that he's grabbing them by the back of the hair and dragging them back to the cave. He makes them want it.
Hmm. That's very interesting. I've never actually paid attention to that. See, I have a different, but I'm kind of screwed up. So if they're too into me, like that focus, that laser
Mhm.
focus, what you're talking about, I'm out.
I know. I know.
But
And
I'm
that's
I'm I'm a little broken, so I'm not the norm. Um,
right.
okay, so another comment um, from Mooshi. It's Mooshi. Of course, younger people want to experience what it's like having different partners. There's value in that. It doesn't make you less pure, it makes you more experienced. So, how does that if a man that builds more confidence and he knows how to work it, what does that do for women that have had more sexual partners?
I
If she
mean,
had more partners.
women can get laid whenever they want to. We don't have to be as engaging. We don't have to be as
Yeah, but what does it do for them? Does
it
it
can it depends on where their head is at in that.
I think so too. I think it's a very emotional thing for
Yeah,
women. So,
it depends on if a woman is claiming her sexual power. If that's the case, then she can have a lot of partners and she'll and, and hold on to herself. But there's also a danger of a woman that has a lot of partners that is losing herself, that is becoming an object, that's becoming, this is who I am when I'm with guys. I don't know how to relate to men except for this. And that's a danger. And I guess it's a danger for men in some regard,
I
but
think it is. I think
but
men are
the
just as
usual,
emotional.
yeah, but the usual dynamics of sex is that a man, I mean, there's probably really handsome guys that get pawed at and treated like an object. But
Hmm.
the average guy, that's not happening to him.
Right. I think the men
He's got
can
to
turn
put
it
himself
off.
out there. Yeah, a guy's got to put himself out there as a sexual
Yeah.
interest, and then a woman's going to bite on that.
Right.
The but a woman, all we have to do is wear a shirt that fits.
Well,
And
that's true,
somebody's
but I'm
gonna,
looking at more at her perspective on she's actually out there mingling with guys. How does that
right,
change her from someone that has not? I think she's just more sexual. I think she exudes
yeah,
more of her sexuality. That's what I think. And I don't
right.
think that's a negative.
No,
If you get into the part where you can't relate to a man other than emotion, I mean, I am able to switch my emotions off. I think men are
right.
a lot better at doing that, but I still think we all have the same emotions. But
Yeah.
Wet Owl
Mhm.
strongly agrees that women are probably making the worst decisions in relationships most of the time. What are
That's
you
not
talking
fair.
about? I mean,
That's not fair.
that's a big generalization. What Al that doesn't we don't understand what you're talking about. You're gonna have to give us some more information.
Yeah, bad decisions go both ways for
Everybody makes
men and
bad.
women are making bad
I
decisions.
agree with you. And then we've got Go Donnie Calm.
Hmm.
Not sure exactly what that is, but you've been reamed out.
Yeah, I told you I'd explain this one to you.
What?
Did you research it?
No.
Well,
No, I didn't. I didn't have time.
okay, so here comes the R-rated portion of the video. I think what he's saying is that regardless of how many times a man has sex, it's not going to whittle away
Loosey
his
goosey.
penis. Yes. But a woman, depending on how many partners she has, how aggressive the sex is, how close together the sex is, she can get stressed out. It happens.
Well,
I've
I
heard
think
it too many times.
I can
You
counter
gotta
that with
Kegel. Let's take a second and Kegel real quick.
I say you can counter that with toys. I mean, some toys are bigger than the average man.
That's exactly right.
And if
That's
you're going to do
exactly right.
that, then if we're going to talk about like, I can't
I
even
mean,
say that word. Like, I can't.
this is
Ugh.
probably a whole new topic, but there is a danger that you masturbate too much and then you can't be
Become
satisfied by,
desensitized. Yeah.
yeah, you can't be satisfied by the real thing. That is a danger for men and women.
Oh, yeah. Strawberry Pound Cake Girl, she says, I have a feeling men actually know that the girl has emotions and she isn't perfect. So they love them the way they are. They're beautiful inside and out. I'm
That's
not
what
sure.
you're looking for.
Yeah.
That's what you're looking for. You
Uh,
want somebody that loves you with your flaws and whatever else is going on.
You know, when she talks about, and I know we've made this video exceptionally long, when she
Feel free
talks
to.
about, you know, women have, they're with the rappers and the bad boys and the whatever, and then they, by the time they turn 30, I guess she's saying, oh my gosh, I have to have kids. My kid clock is ticking, and they just run to any man and they settle. I'm sorry. I don't know one woman
Yeah.
that has done that. Do you?
Yeah.
That has done that. Do you?
No, that's oversimplified.
Yeah.
That's oversimplified. But I do know lots of women that have been out there, you know, living their best life.
And
Thinking
they
that
decide it's time to settle down and I
they
want to
decide
start
to
a
settle down.
family. And they start looking for that man.
My civics teacher, when I was like a sophomore or junior in high school, he said, mark my words. And this is one of the things I really remember about high school. He said, mark my words. He said, people do not marry who they love. They marry who they're with when they're ready to settle down.
Really?
I don't know. Think about it. Think about the people you know. They don't necessarily marry the person that's the best match for them. Sometimes they let that person go too early.
I don't
Sometimes
know.
they didn't wait long enough. But when they're ready to settle down, they marry who they're with. And it would be hard to prove. I don't have those.
I don't know if I agree with that. But I also was thinking, okay, so when she says they're in their 30s and they date the rappers and the bad boys and whatever, what makes you think they weren't trying to settle down then? What makes you think they weren't looking for love forever then? They're looking in the, you have to learn that the bad boy or the guy that
Right.
really turns you on when you're 22
Mm-hmm.
is not the guy you want to bring home to your mom or your grandmother.
Or he ain't coming home.
Or he doesn't show up.
He don't show up.
But doesn't mean you weren't looking at him as a potential forever mate.
Right.
You have to learn those things as a woman, and you don't know that until you're in your 20s. And then, yeah, some of us marry the bad boy.
Right. And God bless the people that choose somebody when they're young and they grow up together. That's a great scenario.
Isn't
Don't
it?
work for everybody.
Isn't it?
Everybody doesn't have that option, you know. So
No,
you're
they don't.
everybody's running through their 20s trying to figure things out.
And who knows what they are doing when they're 22 years old or 18.
Right.
When I saw that study and it said the number one age is 18, yeah, I mean, what percentage of people are online, that guys that are in their 20s? Of course they're going to go for 18 to 22 or whatever. That's their age group.
And whatever online dating site she got these statistics from, it wasn't Match.com. It wasn't people looking for a marriage.
No, it wasn't. It was OkCupid.
It wasn't eHarmony.
It was OkCupid. It was slightly worse than Plenty of Fish.
Yeah.
It's just nuts. But anyway, so do you have anything else you want to add? I'm going to wrap this up, and
No, I'm good.
I think we've covered a whole lot. If you all have some comments you want to share, definitely let us know. I forgot where I was even looking. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the like button and the share with all your friends button. And we will talk to you real soon. Bye.
Thanks.